Welcome to Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki, where inspiration meets action. This is your spot to grow, level up, and lead with fresh ideas. From sales to service, from frontline teams to executives, we're dropping weekly knowledge and insight to keep your store sharp, relevant, and profitable. Let's get into it. I just have known him, worked with him for so long. I just love this guy. And it's been extraordinary, really, for me personally, just to know him and work in his stores in both service and sales over the years, because I've watched this guy he's a beast. He has taken this store from average to number 3 in the nation, and he is gunning for that first position. You better watch out, car pros. Okay. Anyway, welcome, Raul. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you so much. A lot of kind words. I don't know about all that, but here I am.
Yeah, no, you're the man. I tell people all the time, all I know is this: there's a mindset to a great leader. And I have watched you. You command respect in your organization. You show people how to do their jobs. You are an inspiration to management. And you've taken this store to over 500 units a month. And again, the rankings say, number 1 in the state of Florida, number 1 in the region. You just do it consistently. It's not even just like a one-time thing, Right. So when you got to City Kia and you were, you've got, a couple hundred units out there. Now you're pumping out nearly 500 cars, sometimes more. And you're consistent here. Tell me a little bit about some of these game-changing moves that took you from just getting by to just killing it. You're like a machine over there. What are the little things that leaders can, they oftentimes maybe overlook?
Right. Well, let's start with the culture, right? So when I came here, we had good people. They just needed leadership, right? So, and then it's getting to know your each one of your players on a granular basis. I'm talking about everybody, from the porter to the cleaning lady to the receptionist. Everybody has a key role in the dealership, and everybody's important. And you have to value your employees. You really do, and you have to go above and beyond to show them a better path than they've had before and a bright future. But we'll go back to the culture, instilling a culture which is customer-centric, home of the best guest experience, believing it, walking the walk, talking the talk, and getting everybody to buy in that you can do business the right way, be honorable, be ethical, lead every single day, and amazing things will happen. So, like when Jen, I hired you right after I took over the store, and I've known you for many, many, many years. So,
yeah,
I knew I was in for a fight. 3 weeks after I get here, COVID hits, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
I had called you right that week. And that's when we started this journey. So it's almost 6 years ago, Jen, since I walked in here. So it's developing, it's spending time. We look like, for example, on my typical day, and you've been to the store many, many times, my typical day, I'll start my service meeting, my sales meeting, my manager meeting. But the manager meetings, I'm mentoring and I'm coaching. Numbers are numbers. The numbers are what they were last night when everybody went to bed and I got an update. We go over the numbers. Of course we do. And, we track several times a day. We see what on every metric we're tracking, whether it's CSI, it's new car sales, CPO sales, we're tracking everything, our CITs. But most of my time in the mornings and when I'm with my managers is mentoring and coaching.
I love this.
Asking them I said, guys, you're not seeing the whole. You're lost in the forest. Let's back it up a little. Let's slow it down. Let's get granular on this. We'll talk about a deal. I'll use a deal as an example. This deal, this happened. What could you have done differently? The growth sucked. You lost $1,200 on this car. It's okay. It is. You got to take them all, good, bad, and ugly. What could we have done different? And then I'll work on that, on a thought. And then try to get everybody to understand why I'm seeing something this way. Maybe they didn't see it that way. It's getting them to think, being proactive, not reactive. The up bus isn't coming. And Jen, you and I over the last 6 months, like I said, you've been here almost 6 years training all my departments, whether it's started with sales BDC, sales people, managers, service advisors, service BDC. You've touched the whole store. And And as we go through our daily goals and what we're trying to get, how can we be better than yesterday? There's, no matter how much you push, certain things don't get done. Certain things didn't quite happen the way you expected them to. Life gets in the way. Things happen, right? How do you overcome that? How do you go in proactively every day to seek the best of your team? Well, you got to be willing to believe in people. You got to you take risks, because you got to have proper leadership throughout the dealership. You have to empower your team. Like, if it's ethical, do the right thing. I mean, you can get to me if you're stuck, but my guys are empowered to. If there's a customer, let's say a customer issue, what's the right thing to? Maybe not be financially the what you want to hear, but forget about the money. Tell me, what is the right thing? If it was your wife, your sister, your mom, your neighbor, how would you want this handled? You personally, I'll ask a manager that. Well, I think this. Then make that decision. I'll back you up. So you have to empower. You have to empower people. You have to be black and white. There cannot be any gray. Like when it comes to ethics or the treatment of customers or your F&I processes, everything needs to fall in line. Everything needs to be transparent. There's we don't, our world has changed so much over the last 15 years. Technology has prevailed.
Yes.
There's greater awareness of everything about our industry. You have a layperson studying automotive, and they get interested in it, and they become car people. They follow, and they're just, they could be an attorney, they could be an accountant, they could be an insurance adjuster. Doesn't matter what walk of life they are, and they get tagged into this car business, and they start learning and researching and becoming a student, like we are. We're students of the business, you and I, Jen. That's what we do every day. We want to learn more. We want to learn more. It's never set it and forget it. That's the
true.
other thing. The set it, forget it mentality.
Yeah.
Everybody operates differently. That has no place in today's world. Is ever changing. It changes from Monday to Wednesday. You're in two different planets, and you've got to be up to date on that. But empowering your staff, building the culture, and then empowering them, supporting them through it. One of the big things every day, I said, you guys are called managers. All right, let's forget about that right now for a minute. Forget the title that you got. You're a GSM, you're a finance manager. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're a mentor, you're a coach, and you're a leader first. If you do those things properly, you'll become an effective manager. But you will not be an effective manager if you don't get those three things going. And when people are coming to you and saying, boss, I think I got a deal. That means you're doing something right. That means that you've proven to them that you got skin in the game. Your time is their time, and you're here to help them sell one more car, service another car, or somebody who's got a big ticket item. Let's say a service customer, a vehicle that's 8 years old, out of warranty, with a $2,800 service ticket, and let's say they cannot trade out. Well, let's find out ways to fix their car over a period of time that they can afford it. There's always a way. You gotta work to find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love this mentality too, because I think that there's always moments in the business. We're in one of them right now where it slumps, times get tough. We're not booking the same amount of service appointments. We're not bringing in the same amount of appointments in the sales department. And the credit is tougher than I've ever seen. Well, of course, we kind of set that up for COVID.
Right.
Now we're seeing the repercussions of that
right.
thing.
Now we're feeling it.
We're definitely feeling it now. Right now.
But Jen, if you think about a call that I had with you, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, way before my gut was telling me, listen, we're in a corrective market. Yeah. And I said, Jen, you know what? You've done a great job with BDC. Great. That's great. You've done a great job with the advisors. That's great. My service BDC. That's great. I said, I only care about one thing right now: prospecting. If we can get our salespeople in every organization, any dealership, we've got to get people to work. COVID was great financially, but it also, a lot of bad habits and bad processes happened during COVID, or the lack of sticking to process. We got away from the basics. A lot of us did. I mean, you hired a guy, never sold a car before. He's averaging $1,800 commission on a car deal. I mean, I used to get 30 minis a month, and a few other ones. But I mean, so everything changed. The quality of the employee. We went through turnover. So we had that net effect from COVID. Profitability was outstanding, beautiful. Then we had to recorrect. So about 8 months ago, when I talked to you, I said, Jen, moving forward, because you were still doing the training for the service team. You were training writers, managers, and the service BDC team. I said, Jen, the only thing on my mind, the only thing I care about right now is back to basics. I want skills. I want people that can be productive. If they come to work, why are they here? We have all these tools. We got a new CRM. We partnered with Drive-Centric a couple of months ago. So there's other things changing as well. So we're in the we just finished migration with that, but there's so many tools available. But if we don't get 80% effective and getting 80% of, everybody wants 100%. Let's get real. So what we know for the last 30 years is 20% of the people are going to sell 80% of the cars in any dealership in America. It's always 72 degrees, whether you're in Denver or Miami, it doesn't matter in a dealership. But what happens if you can get 80% effective, if you can get your salespeople to be 80% effective on their time, if they're going to have an 8-hour day or a 12-hour day or a 16-hour day, how do we make them 80% effective while they're here? That's the key to managing, and especially in a tough environment. We are in a tough environment. I think this is the next few months. It's gonna be a little bit more of the same. I think we've had a reduction, in a lot of areas, and not just the automobile business. I've seen hotels going through it, restaurants. It's industry wide. It's certain economic factors. Consumer confidence is in all there. That'll come back over time. But if we're looking at the next, I don't know, maybe to January, February, this could maybe March will have an upwards correction. But all I can know is that I have to control what I have here. I can't worry about what's happening outside of the news, or that doesn't pay our bills, or doesn't. Right. You have to have a different mindset when you're in the building, no matter what happens outside.
Get that 80%.
To get that 80% effectiveness.
Everybody has to stay focused.
Stay focused. Yes, ma'am.
So I just have to pop this in here, because again, we got twists and turns all the time in this business. That's what we do. We twist and we turn. But like you said, you always stay focused. And I want the audience to know that during the height of COVID, where it seemed like everything was Mecca, it was literally the best times of our entire lives. Right. A lot of people let off the gas. They thought, okay, we can't come to work. Okay, we have to, we got these big commissions, blah, blah, blah. Not you. You had me on a plane regularly. Yep, I was the only one on the plane. I was the only one at the hotel. Right. But you made them focus. Oh, yeah, we were in a super spreader event. You didn't care. Everybody has to stay focused on keeping the knife sharp. And I want you to know, much respect, because I've actually seen that the outcome of that initiative right there. You would not let them let off the gas. You would not let them, get lazy. Everybody had to keep fighting and sharpening the skills. And that is, in fact, I think what you're saying here too, is that even in the moment of we're in a down, we're in a low, and people get crapped out. You know what I mean? Like you need a leader more now than ever that's going to give you a pep talk. I'm actually curious to hear what your pep talk is. I want to hear what you say to your team in the lows. But here's what he's saying. He's saying we can see the market shifting, and now we got to get the players on top of their game. I want 80% out of every person, but not everybody knows how to be 80%. And this is why when you mentioned your managers, that you coach your managers every day in your morning meetings, this is what managers have to do with their sales teams. Really, I mean, you're the head coach, but they're all specialty coaches, and they all bring something different to the table. And I've said this to your managers, you got to see them all individually. You got to bring them in as a unit, and you've got to keep training and teaching them new skills. And if they don't know how to prospect, and that's what we have to do, and they don't know how to sell used cars, and that's what we need to do, then there has to be something that's carved out on the schedule that allows everybody to learn and grow. But I love your mentality. So what do you tell these guys when the shit gets real?
I'll give you a perfect example. I said, a couple days ago, in the morning before the meeting, I'm walking the floor, I'm talking to everybody, and then I brought the managers up. We're having a meeting. I do this every day. So we're having a meeting, and I hear a manager before we go up. There was like 6 salesmen. He goes, "Guys, get on the phones," and I'm listening. So I didn't call him out in the meeting. I didn't say who he was, but everybody knew who the managers were that were downstairs. It's not a secret. I'm just saying. So I said a few minutes ago, one of the managers told everybody, walked over to a group of guys and said, "Hey guys, get on the phones." That's ineffective management. A leader will finish with me. Say, guys, I need the next 5 guys. Bring me your binders with all your worksheets. Meet me in Joel's F&I office. We're gonna do one-on-ones, call outs. You grab them by the hand and you do it with them. Don't tell them. Do it.
Yes.
Stop pointing. You don't point to the bathroom. You don't point them in. You do it with them. That's when you have skin in the game. When they see that you're willing to give your time to dedicate it to them so they can do better, they buy in and they become more effective. You take a guy who's 30% effective, you get him to 50, 60, 70, until you get to that goal of 80%.
Yeah, I really love what you're saying, because I think that people always need a mentor and they need a coach. And that's why I love when the first part of what you said was, these guys, they could be managers. Anybody could be a manager, but you're not really a real great manager unless you know how to coach and train. Right. And I couldn't agree with more. But then you take it to the next level, and these guys have to get in there and do some of the work. They don't need to do the work for the salespeople, but they need to show them how to do it.
And hold their hand, do it.
Yeah,
and coach them, critique one-on-one, just like when you're training. I've seen you do it for decades. When you're training a BDC manager or one of the BDC agents, okay, that was good. This is what you could have done better. It's the same thing, but I have so many managers that if they divide and conquer, he takes 5 guys, he takes 5 guys, he takes 4 guys, he takes 6 guys, and we do it every single day. Sorry for banging that. And you do it every single day. You start making traction. That you can start seeing the accumulation of effort when you get those extra 5 or 6 B-backs a day. And that's a big deal to me. There's X amount of I want 10 to 12 B-backs on there. Monday through Friday, I want 10 to 12 B-backs. Sorry, Tuesday, Friday. Sundays and Mondays, I expect more. Mondays, I like 15 B-backs. I don't get it all the time, but
gotta have a goal.
You gotta have the goal, and you've got to do the little things that make big differences. Pointing people, telling people, no, do it.
No.
Do it with them, and you listen. It goes back to you either can give them fish or teach them how to fish. No, your job is to teach them how to fish every single day. Not once a week. One-on-ones isn't a one-on-one once a week job. At City Key, one-on-ones are every single day, Monday through Friday. Saturdays it's showtime. We don't have time for the one-on-ones. We do that. We do early confirmations in the morning, and then it's showtime, right? Saturday, Sunday. And but Monday through Friday, every day, without fail, no exception, one-on-ones have to happen. If I've got 4 managers on, or 6 or 3, I don't care. It doesn't matter how many managers, whatever I have, they're going to divide the floor of that day. It's 1 team or 2 teams or 3 teams in today, and act accordingly.
Yeah. I love your energy. You have the most passion, and I think this is why we gel so much. And it's just you're so high energy, and I don't know how you do it all day, because car dealership is full of moving parts, and it's a lot of heat, and it's just a lot of movement, a lot of people. And anyways, how do you keep yourself together? How do you reset? How do you stay in the game and fight this fight every freaking day? What's your routine? How do you get in the zone?
Great that you're asking me that question, because that was my morning meeting with the salesman today. I said, when you wake up in the morning, you make a conscious decision. Are you a winner or are you a loser? For the minute, so I open my eyes around 5:45 in the morning. That's kind of like my thing. And I take my dog out to do my thing, drink some of my juice, whatever I'm going to do. And I get my head psyched up. Now I know that I'm going to have good, bad, and ugly things happen during the day. Some things are out of my control. It is what it is. It goes with the job, right? But I psych myself to come in, no matter how my back hurts or my knee hurts that day, or it doesn't matter. I put myself in like I'm going into a fight. And I told them, I said, when 2 guys get in a ring, 2 girls, it doesn't matter. When 2 people get in a ring for combat, the person that sees himself winning is going to win the fight. The other guy may be stronger, bigger, more muscular, longer reach. The guy that believes I already won this fight when he gets in the ring. So if you could psych it, and it was funny you're asking me that. That was my meeting this morning with 1 team, and tomorrow I'll do something like that with the whole team. But it's about putting yourself in the right frame. And I told them, listen, I don't like people that cut out of work and stuff like that. But if you wake up defeated, don't show up to work. Call in and say, listen, I feel defeated. I need some therapy or something. I don't know what I need, but I'm not going to be any good to anybody, because you're not going to be any good to a customer or to your teammates if you're defeated. You have to be your winner. I want to surround myself with people with positive mental attitudes that believe they can, and they will.
Hmm. Well, you want them preaching that to the front line, because this is what I say to your front line every single week. You're on the championship team. You've got the head coach of all head coaches. You are literally living in a brand that produces the right cars. Right. I don't know, those prices are kind of high, but you have a lot of great product. Now, are you acting like a champion? Are you part of this championship team? Right. Are you motivating your colleagues, your teammates like a champion would? Because it's a whole team effort to win the championship. I said, you guys have to be grateful, and you have to recognize the opportunity that's in front of you. And not every person out there is in a dealership in this situation. You are in the championship. Yeah. We are literally on the field every single day, and we got to fight, and we got to fight, and we got to fight. And it means that we don't need to be thinking about what we can't do. We have to be thinking about what we can do in every single scenario. What can I do to make this work? Right now, what is the solution?
That mindset is the key. What you were saying or alluding to earlier. How do we stand our part at this time in this current market, this environment that we're in? How do we stand apart from other institutions, other dealerships, and other businesses? How? Yeah. It's because the mentality you have here, whatever happens out there doesn't matter.
Yeah, forget it.
It's game day. Matters. It's what you do here it's the effort that you put in here that matters. And we're being blessed that we're a dealer in Orlando, and we are one of the top stores in the country. But I'll give you an example. Orlando is so hot with Kia. National, you're going to be 7 to 9% market share any given city around the country. In Central Florida, Orlando, Kia's market share as of yesterday was 15%.
Dang.
We've been hovering around 15, even we got close to 16 a few months ago. So that's Toyota's number 1 and Kia's number 2. Then come everybody else. That's in market share in Central Florida. So they're blessed that they have a job at City Kia, that they're in this market, in a hyper Kia market, with a store with a lot of exposure and the most incredible customers. I have the greatest customers, and I have such a diversity. Remember, we're very ethnic here. We have a lot of Hispanics. Lately, we have a new immigration, which is from Brazil. So I've hired we have 4 Portuguese-speaking team members now. Looking for a BDC. I'm looking for someone for Jessica's BDC that speaks Portuguese, because that business is growing. But we're so fortunate. So instead of you're going to have a lot of people turn the news off, get rid of all the craziness, stop with the glass half full, the glass half empty, the glass half full. Be happy that you have a glass in your hand and move forward. You have to have winning thoughts give you winning results.
Winning thoughts. Woo, I love this. Okay, I have to switch gears real quick, because I've watched you promote a lot of people in your organization. And I love this. I think that you're always looking to elevate, like you said from the very beginning. People need to see what is the opportunity now, but also ahead.
Where are we going?
And where we headed, and where can you go? And there has to be opportunity for people to grow. And anyways, I've watched you promote a lot of people. So when you think about, and by the way, there's somebody I want to pinpoint. I kind of wish I had him on here right now, but Jose, your service director, this is a very big service department. I want this audience to know that I've watched him build a second remote department
Oscar,
about 5 miles. Yeah, did I say that? I missed the wrong person. Oscar. And but no, he built this service department, $10 million facility, increased the bays. We saw the service problem happening where, we couldn't do same day appointments. We were pushing people off for 3 weeks. And this thing is really exploding and paying off. But, you saw an opportunity with Oscar that, he wasn't necessarily in a big store like this. And you really put him into a very big role. This is one of the biggest roles in the country to be able to manage this many technicians. How many technicians do you have?
Right now, between lube techs, we have over 40 now, and we have that's master, that's apprentice, and that's lube.
40 technicians. How many service advisors? How many service BDC? This guy's got to look over. Yeah,
let's talk about that, about talent.
Yes.
So when I met Oscar, the other day we talked about it. He said I made him wait 6 months. I thought it was 3 months. So
he told me that too.
He told you that. So I interviewed him. I liked him, and I said, all right, I'm going to put him on the bench. I'm not going to hire you today, but I think I may hire you some other day. So he said 6 months went. I thought it was 3 months. He said you finally called me 6 months later and we met, but we grew this together. The good thing is Kurt is very custom. Our dealer principal, Kurt Warner, the customer experience is crucial to him. That people feel they're in a good place, an ethical, respectful place. That we're here to help. And remember, all dealers, we all represent the consumer. We are the liaison between the factory on warranty repair and the consumer. We fight for people all the time. So going back to Oscar, so when we got to this point where the store was selling about 160, 170 cars when I joined the company a month before February of 20, right before COVID, and we only had 19 bays here, and we went from 170 to 300 pretty quick. And,
wow.
And that was even with inventory shortages because of COVID. Remember, it was hard to get cars, and which was what drove all the prices up. But so it got to the point where we're doubling the sales rate, but I can't get people into service for 9 weeks, 8 weeks, 7 weeks to do an oil change. And it got frustrating. So he was forward thinking, and Kurt said, let's figure it out. And I found a warehouse. He said, let's buy it. We spent a lot of money in R&D and developing that whole center. You've been there, Jen. You trained.
It's outstanding.
We have a state-of-the-art facility. Right now, we have one of the largest service capacity Kia dealerships in the United States.
Like 49, 50 bays.
49, and we're not done growing. We may have to add there's another area that we may grow into because it's just we got to the point where we're doing a lot of recall work for all of Central Florida because I can take people same day. We've expanded our service hours till 9 p.m. We do close Sundays. I used to open Sundays. I'm closing Sunday because for shifts it actually worked better. Eventually, I'm going to have a night shift at Recon for fleet. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. You've never seen the shirt, Jen. Fleet services. So
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, we're a commercial fleet dealer. Did that 6 months ago and put together a fleet staff to, for like Universal, Disney, the big HVAC companies, the plumbers, the electricians, and to be able to not only sell them vehicles, but actually service and maintain their vehicles. So eventually we're going to have satellite work from in by fleet for fleet customers in by 7 p.m., out by 7 a.m. We'll have a night on fleet. So we're always looking for ways to expand our reach and to expand the service that we can provide the community.
Well, you've 100% put a lot on Oscar, who was never working in a store this big, and you saw something and you put him on the bench, and then you just took this guy over the top. I mean, even when you say things like this, I think, oh my God, Oscar, another initiative, another project, and he just takes it.
He's a bull. He's done
it. He is a bull. He's
grown.
Me too.
We've had rough patches with Oscar, and like I have with everybody. I'm always
with everybody. It's a big organization.
Yeah, it's a big company, and I'm always pushing everybody's buttons.
You are.
And, but Oscar is a great partner to have.
But you got to tell me something. What did you see? I mean, because a lot of people don't want to take the risk on people that don't have the. Okay, so that's how do you know? How do you know? How do you know this guy's got grit?
So when I talked to him, before I ever checked his background, I just sat with him at a restaurant. We started talking. I said, well, how would you handle this? And what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? Yeah. And nothing, I talked in different terms with him about, and I asked him different questions that I would normally, or the majority of the people that I could interview for that would have excuses of why they're like, is that happening at your current deal? Why? They're going to give me an excuse of why it's happening. They're going to blame somebody else. Oscar goes, no, that would be my responsibility. It would be my challenge to do. So he said said the right things, and I could sense he had the right stuff. He has grit, and that's a hard thing. Whether you're in sales or service, you need somebody with grit, somebody who'll roll up their sleeves and get it done. I've seen Oscar in the back washing cars because we were down. You guys would take his shirt off in an undershirt, washing cars under a tent in the back at 103-degree weather because that's what it took.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I'm blessed with, remember, Oscar, Preston, Frank Garcia, Mike Villamez, Giovanno, Carlos Castillo, and then all my sales.
It's one after the next, after the next.
I am so blessed. I have put together one hell of a team. Every one of my guys are power players. I don't have, everybody can carry their own weight and carry somebody on their shoulders. That's what it's about here.
Outside of grit, And that's something that all of your managers have in common. They are not afraid to get in the fight and fight the fight. And I like that they're not just pointing fingers, but showing them how to do it.
Right.
The grit, I mean, is there another characteristic that you really look for when you're looking to promote or you're looking to put in these high positions? What is it?
So you, by certain questions that you ask, or certain you ask them how they conduct themselves during, you give them a situation. What would happen? How would you handle this? And I would ask the situation. How would you correct it? It could be a CSI issue, right? If your CSI is down, tell me what your first strategy is. Where do you start? And well, he starts from the beginning. First of all, we check: is there a process? Is there a process? Is the process valid? Is it working? Or do we need a new process? Then we go to people. Got a process. Now, do we have the right people? And Oscar, I used to get crazy with Oscar because Oscar there was a time where he had a lot of turnover while he was building, because you have to have, I want people to take care of my customer, and I wanted to do it right because I wanted to have one of the best CSIs. We won the 23 and 24 President's Award. We're slated to win it 3 years in a row now. We should win it this year again. I got to get another thing to put the statue in the showroom because City Kia, we're out of room. We have a little storage issue here at City Kia, but it's how they over when you present them with a theoretical problem, which is something that I've gone through and we've all experienced. How would you address this? And I'm going to listen to how they say they would fix that problem. Have you done that before? I have. Have you been successful? I have. Have you always? Well, it took me time. Tell me about that. And you slow down. You let them talk. Well, when I first started to do this, I had a lot of blowback, and I had disgruntled people, and then I learned how to do it. And you let them tell you their story. But the value is when they're done their story, they took ownership. They did what had to get done. They became part of the solution, not reporting the news. I don't want to hear the news. I want you to, when you bring, and like my guys don't know this. When somebody comes in my office and it's all day long with a problem, when you walk in my office with a problem, you better have
come with a solution.
You better have a solution in one hand. I'm not going to think for you. I can help you, but show me what you're thinking. How did we get here? What causes? How can we not go down this road again? You got to learn. You got to make. Every time you have to say goodbye to somebody, when you have turnover and you lose a player or the player leaves, you got to get miles out of it. What could we have done better? When we lose an employee, could we have done something better to retain this? How did we fail this? Did we fail the employee? Because the first thing is, the person didn't have the goods, or it's easy to say, they just didn't have what it took. How much did we give ourselves to build this person? Did we really spend enough time mentoring this person? So is it their fault, our fault, or a combination of both? Most of the times you'll find out it's a combination of both.
Yeah. Okay. You've given us a whole lot of intel, a lot of great insights. I love your leadership, and there's a difference between being a great leader and being a great manager, and you've helped us distinguish between the two today. So I got to ask you one last thing. Okay. This is about your legacy. When you look back at your time at City Kia, what do you hope that they say about your time there, your legacy?
That to me, what would be important to me is to see how many lives we've affected, how many people bettered their life in the last 6 years from where they were to where they are today. I have a Brazilian salesman that you work with very well. I'm not going to say I'm going to say his name. His name is Joby. And Joby been with me a long time. Great kid. Great young man. He almost didn't get hired here. I saw him from the second floor. He was walking by, and they told him that they didn't want to hire him because he didn't have experience. This is when maybe 3 months after I took over, and I grabbed him and brought him up to my office. He was waiting tables. He's consistently been one of the top 3 salesmen for 5 years in a row. CSI is 1,000. He married a beautiful young lady. They're working, I think, to start a family this year. Bought a beautiful home. But to see the guys grow personally, in their faith, in their business, in their family, to me, that means I think, there's a lot of ways to keep scores, but the effect that you have on the people around you, I want that to be my legacy, that my life was better. He worked with us every day, and my life is better because of that. That would be a great feeling for me, and something that would give me great satisfaction.
Well, I've already seen it unfold, and I've become so friendly with nearly everybody on your
Yeah,
front line. I know everybody. And yeah. And I enjoy my friendships with them because, they're fighters, and they want to win. And this is why you have a championship, bench. And you've given us, all of my listeners today, a lot of great advice. And it really holds true to the mentality that you carry every day, helping people succeed and grow.
The responsibility we all have as leaders in this business is sometimes overwhelming because a lot of people are counting on everything that we do, right?
Yes.
But one of the things that, and I've been, we've had months where we've been, especially lately, where we're in the pinch. We got 5 days left. Things are not looking good, and we got to. And when I ask my guys to rise, and I say I need you all to stand, and I need you strong now, they don't let me down. They don't disappoint. They'll walk through fire. I mean, let's go. Let's do this battle together. And they're like, let's go, boss. We got this. And they believe it. They
love
walk
you.
it. They talk it. Yeah, it's like a family. And we try not to let each other down. So that's what I'm proud is of the culture that we built and how people have improved their lives from 6 years ago till today. That's me.
Yeah, well, I can attest to it. My friend, you are outstanding. I just love our
Thank you
friendship.
for all your help. Still got to keep helping.
Yeah, well, I'm not going anywhere.
Remember, Jen, 80% effective. That's what I want.
I hear you. 80%. I hear you. Hey, listen, I've got all sorts of directions I'm going into next year, but I can tell you I'll always be committed to you.
Amen. Likewise.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. Don't forget, my weekly live classes are designed to keep your team fired up, skilled up, and focused on results. Subscribe right now at edealersolutions.com. See ya!